I'm gonna watch the Navarrete fight. I've been following Navarrete since the Oscar Valdez victory that he got, and I became a huge fan of his. And I started doing a lot of research on him. And he's going for his fourth weight class, which is really big. He's really an accomplished fighter in such a short time since 2020. I think he piled up a 25-1 record. He challenged a Ghanaian boxer champion for the championship, and he rematched him. I think his name was Dogbo. He rematched him, and it was a good fight. The early fight, he still, he won by unanimous decision. I think he outlanded him. I think it was like 186, 221 punches at a 176. And in the rematch, he was more dominant. In the when he fought Dogbo in the rematch, Navarrete, he was more dominant. And he's already gone to his fourth weight class to fight a Ukrainian boxer, Berenchyk. I don't know too much about him. I know he's undefeated, and I know he's like 36 years old. And Navarrete he accomplished championships in the junior featherweight. He defended it 5 times, the junior featherweight. Then he moved up to featherweight because nobody wanted to unify the titles with him in the junior featherweight. So, he defended the junior featherweight championship 5 times, Navarrete, and then he moved up to featherweight. He defended that 3 times, and then after that, he went to the lightweight, 130 pounds, to fight, and he defended it 2 times as well. So now he's gonna go to another weight class. Like, he's very accomplished. He's defended his belts. The most that he's defended his belts was 5 times in the junior featherweight division. So I feel like Navarrete is a very accomplished boxer. I'm not gonna say that he's a technician, but the thing I like about him, Navarrete, is that he comes to fight, and if every fight that you watch from him, it's gonna be a war. It's gonna be a battle. Like, he throws a lot of combinations. That's what makes him dangerous. I feel like, to beat a fighter like that, I'm not saying that he's unbeatable, but he's the type of fighter that in order to beat him, you have to really, really, really be on top of your game. And the boxer that he beat, I think the last fighter that he fought was Consencio, Brazilian, and he was losing rounds, but he's the type of fighter that he can hurt you at any given moment, and he can catch you. And Navarrete has become one of my favorite Mexican fighters. He is no joke. He reminds me of Subriel Matias. The only thing is that Subriel Matias has better defense. I'm not saying that Subriel Matias is Mayweather, but he does have a better defense than Navarrete. But Navarrete has that relentless style. He keeps coming. He does not quit. He's very dangerous at any given moment. When he fought Oscar Valdez, the way he beat Oscar Valdez, like, I didn't think that Oscar Valdez was gonna lose. I actually thought that Oscar Valdez was gonna win that fight, but I didn't know too much about Navarrete. But then, doing the due diligence and finding out what he's about, watching his career, he defended his junior featherweight championship 5 times, moved up to featherweight, defended it 3 times, and then he went to 130 pounds, defended it 2 times, and now he's going for a fourth weight class, which I think is he's accomplishing a lot. And I feel like a lot of fighters at junior featherweight didn't want to unify with him. They were afraid of him. He was kind of like a boogeyman. But Oscar Valdez stepped up to the plate and fought him, and I give him credit. And he also fought Joet Gonzalez. But I feel like he's fought a champion where he was the underdog. Like, it was 800 to 500. They were not. A lot of people were rooting for Dogbo to win the fight. It was going to be his second defense of his title at I think junior featherweight, and Navarrete, he beat him. And the first fight, it was I think it was unanimous decision. The second fight, he totally dominated him. He knocked him down a whole bunch of times, and I feel like Navarrete is a skillful fighter will be able to beat him, but you have to be on top of your game with that guy, because that guy's dangerous. Like, he's not gonna give up. And yes, he has he has deficiencies in his style. But Navarrete is the type of fighter that you want to watch him. Like people watch him. Like I think for the fight, what was it? What fight? It had like 500,000 views. I think it was the Oscar Valdez fight when he fought Oscar Valdez, and he pummeled Oscar Valdez. Like he impressed me in that fight because even though Oscar Valdez had lost to Shakur Stevenson, there's no shame in losing to Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson is just on another level. You know, he didn't look too great in his last fight when he fought De Los Santos, but he beat him and he hurt his hand. So I give him the benefit of the doubt. Shakur Stevenson in that fight with De Los Santos. But I think Navarrete has beaten some top solid fighters. Like Oscar Valdez, Joel Gonzalez, Dogbo. He was an underdog when he fought that fight. In that fight, you know, Navarrete was an underdog. Nobody expected him to win that fight in the junior featherweight when he fought Dogbo for the first time, and then, he outlanded him, and then in the second fight he totally dominated him. So, Navarrete has a loss, but Navarrete is willing to fight all those fighters like Subriel Matias, and he wants to make statements. He wants to actually prove that he's elite, and he's on that status where he wants to fight all comers. He's not ducking nobody. That's what he said in his interview, that he wants to fight people like Pitbull Cruz. Which Pitbull Cruz is not really accomplished. He accomplished more in a loss than in a victory because he fought Rolly Romero. That's not somebody to say, wow, like you accomplished something. He still has more to prove, but he's a tough fighter, man. Pitbull Cruz. He has he has a slightly good defense, but not the greatest. He gets tagged. It's just he tucks his chin down, and he has like that Mike Tyson, chin down style. But he can be caught. He can be caught. But I feel like it's a very interesting weight class, 140, and I feel like Navarrete, if he moves to the 140 after this fight, because he's known for moving up right away. Like, he doesn't have to stay in the division for that long. He'll fight maybe two times, the most five, which was in the junior featherweight. He'll actually move up in 140 probably in one fight or two fights. After he defends his belt maybe one time or two times at the 35 pound, he'll probably move to 140 after two fights, defending his belt two times, maybe, or maybe once. Because he's known to do that. He transitions a lot. But I think that Navarrete is very entertaining, very exciting to watch. He'll definitely have eyeballs watching him because he's Mexican, and Puerto Ricans, they have a big fan base. And I feel like if they were to fight, either fight, Pitbull Cruz versus Navarrete, but I would prefer Subriel Matias versus Navarrete because they both throw a lot of combinations. And I feel like, when you throw a lot of combinations like Navarrete and Subriel Matias, it's like it makes it a very challenging, for even a skillful boxer because, I'm not saying most of the time, but if you put a skillful boxer like let's say Shakur Stevenson versus Navarrete, I think Shakur Stevenson wins, but it is dangerous because Shakur Stevenson, you never know like how he'll deal with all those combinations. The way he throws that, the volume that he throws like almost 1,000 punches in a whole fight. Navarrete, he's like a Subriel Matias. I think Subriel Matias throws a little bit more combinations. I'm not really sure, but I know they both have that similar style. The only difference is that Subriel Matias is he has more technique than Navarrete. Navarrete has wild telegraphic punches that you can see from a mile away, but he's able to put that pressure on you, and he knows how to cut the ring, and he throws so many combinations that it could even overwhelm a boxer. Like, there's a lot of different intangibles that, as a boxer, that you need to have to beat the other fighter. Like, for instance, let's say, hypothetically speaking, like a boxer that has skills but doesn't have the heart or the will to go the extra mile, like some other fighters, they could lose to a fighter that has a lot of power and just moves forward and is willing to get hit like three times to land like three punches. Like, there's fighters that get discouraged when you have that kind of relentless style, that are boxers that have technique, but they miss the other intangibles that they need, like the chin, like Devin Haney, or the heart. Like some people, like people that like boxers that don't want to get knocked down, or they have a weak chin, they're gonna be susceptible to like not trade and go toe to toe. But if you actually cut the ring and you have a long reach and you're a slugger and you punch and you're relentless and you have a strong will and a strong chin, a lot of times the strong will and strong chin surpasses the skill, depending on what variables the other fighter has that has boxing skills. Because sometimes you can have the boxing skills, but you don't have the other attributes that you need, like the chin or the will, the strong will. Like boxers are tough. Any boxer that gets in the ring is usually tough, but a boxer that gets in the ring, there's always somebody that has certain mental aspects that could override the other boxer. Like let's say, for instance, the boxer that has skills, it has certain mental deficiencies that like that kind of prevent him from using his the attributes that could work against a slugger or one-dimensional fighter. That could actually prevent him from winning, because if the boxer that is only a puncher or slugger and is one-dimensional, if he's willing to like put pressure and knows how to cut the ring and has a strong will and his mental game is he's been through a lot and he knows that he likes to he overcomes adversity, he surpasses adversity. That fighter that's limited compared to the boxer that has skills could win in some cases, because there's certain attributes that you need. Boxing is you have to have all the attributes to be on top of your game, to be dominant in one particular area where you can dominate the fighters. But a lot of fighters have different variables, mental variables, chin, boxing ability, will, determination. A lot of different factors influence who's going to win. But usually 9 times out of 10, the boxer with the skills usually beats the fighter there's one dimensional, this come forward type style. But there's a lot of different intangibles that determine how a fighter is going to win. If he has the mental faculties, he has the chin, he has the strong will, he has the quickness, and he knows how to cut the ring. There's a lot of different things. Like De Los Santos had a lot of different attributes, mental, physical, speed, power. So when he fought Shakur Stevenson, he gave him a little bit of trouble, but not really. Like, Shakur Stevenson pretty much won the fight, but he didn't engage a lot, and that made him look bad. But he had enough to win, but it didn't look good. But I think he won. But I think you hurt his hand, like you said. But let's go back to the Navarette fight with Berenchyk. Those Ukrainian fighters, they're coming up. A lot of them are starting to come up in the ranks. You got tonight. We also have another fight. The heavyweights. The heavyweights, Fury, Usyk. That fight is going to be really good. I don't know a lot about Usyk. I don't really like Tyson Fury. But I respect his game. He does have skills, and he has a great jab, and he has a really good jab, and he's a big guy, and the way he uses his jab is like the way he fights. He fights like a smaller fighter, but I don't like the way he comes in fights out of shape, and he's very flabby. And in this fight, he looks a little better than the last one, or a lot better, but he's still a little flabby. But I feel like Usyk, his fight is inside, and I think that he's faster than Tyson Fury. But I don't think I think Tyson Fury has a size advantage, and he knows how to use his size, the jab, and I'm rooting for Usyk to win, and I think the best way for Usyk to win is to fight on the inside and smother Tyson Fury, because if he stays on the outside, I feel like Tyson Fury is gonna dominate him and possibly stop him, or just win by decision, a boring decision. But I think Tyson Fury can make the fight exciting, because he can knock people out. You got to give him credit. I don't like him, but he is a talented boxer, champion. But I feel like Tyson Fury is gonna win, but I'm rooting for Usyk to win. There's a possibility he could win, but Usyk is he's not a knockout puncher, so I don't see Usyk knocking out Tyson Fury. But Tyson Fury didn't look good in his last fight with Ngannou, and I think Ngannou beat him. But I also think that Deontay Wilder knocked him out in the first fight. The other 2 fights, yes, I give Tyson Fury won clearly, but the first fight, I think the referee counted too slow, because it already reached the 10 count. Like as soon as Tyson Fury got knocked down, that's when the referee was supposed to count, and he didn't. So by the time he got up, it was already 10 seconds if you count on time. But I think the referee didn't count on time. It could have been politics, they want Tyson Fury to keep winning. There's a lot of stuff, like in behind the scenes. I don't want to mention, but yeah, um, I think I wouldn't be surprised if Usyk won the fight. I would like this is a unification, fight, the heavyweights, and I feel like it's a good fight, and it's gonna be at 12 midnight. So there's a lot going on in boxing, man. I'm trying to keep up with everything. I want to watch the Navarette fight, and I also with Berenchyk, and I also want to watch the Tyson Fury versus Usyk. He got an exotic name. These guys have exotic names, Ukrainian fighters. But I know from what I see in the videos, like the footage of Usyk, he's good. I saw the fight with Anthony Joshua, and he dominated him. But I don't know. I just need to see more from Usyk. I don't know enough about him, but I know that Tyson Fury he uses his weight, the jab, and he fights like a small fighter. He may not have looked good in the Ngannou fight, but I think he took this fight serious. He didn't take the Ngannou fight serious, but I feel like he's like lackadaisical sometimes. Like he doesn't always train properly. Tyson Fury. That's why I don't like him, and because of that. And I think he's a little arrogant too. That's what I don't like about him. But at the end of the day, you can't take away what he brings to the table. As a boxer, he's got the credentials. He has boxing skills. But I don't think he's faster than Usyk. I think Usyk is faster. So Usyk should give him trouble, at least with the speed. But he has to smother him and stay inside. And it might be like one of those kind of fights where it's boring or he's clinching a lot, he's fighting inside if he uses that tactic. But I just feel like Tyson Fury has enough in his arsenal to win and to win good. But Usyk might surprise us, because he is faster and he fights. I think he's got shorter reach and he fights better on the inside probably with Tyson Fury, because Tyson Fury's like he'll just stay long, throw the jab, set you up, and eventually he'll he knocks out people. But I feel like as far as Navarrete versus Berenchyk, I don't know too much about Berenchyk, but he's 36 years old, and I think Navarrete is the truth. Navarrete is one of my favorite fighters. My favorite fighters are Subriel Matias, Navarrete, David Benavidez. I like Tank Davis. I like Frank Martin. I like Terence Crawford. But if you was to ask me who are my top, I would say David Benavidez, Subriel Matias, David Benavidez, Navarrete. I like Shakur Stevenson. I like Pitbull Cruz. I like let me see what else. Crawford. Definitely Crawford. He just gotta be more active, man. Boxers are not as active as they used to be, and it should be more like active. The sports, hopefully, it gets more better. Like with those deals they're having, overseas where they're covering for the fighters. They're actually paying to see the fights that people want to see. They want to see Canelo fight Crawford. I think that's ridiculous, but if they put the money, it can happen. But I just feel like Canelo said he wouldn't want to fight Crawford because they're not going to give him credit because he's coming up from 147. So I just feel like Canelo got to fight David Benavidez. Now, stop beating around the bush. I know that he's using his name and trying to milk it as long as he could because he knows he's not going to beat David Benavidez. He knows that David Benavidez is not Munguia. He's gonna obliterate Canelo. I think David Benavidez is gonna knock out Canelo. Canelo won't last 5 rounds with Benavidez. If he does, I'll be surprised if he goes 7 rounds. But Canelo is tough. He has fortitude, but he's not as fast as he used to be. He don't throw as much combinations as he used to. Like he was very reserved with Munguia. Munguia was tagging him a lot, and I give Munguia credit for tagging him and catching him. And I feel like if Munguia was more technical and he timed him and he was physically stronger, like the way Benavidez is gonna be, Canelo will have serious trouble. He can't get hit that amount of times that he got hit in the Munguia fight with Benavidez. A lot of people say things about Benavidez or Munguia is more accomplished. Munguia, I give him credit for how he looked in the fight with Canelo, but I feel like he's not made for that type of fighter. Like Canelo will always beat him. Maybe if Canelo was a little older, maybe he would have a chance, but I just think Canelo's more superior, the superior athlete, boxer. He's able to time him really good. He got experience as a veteran. But, the fight tonight, Navarrete versus Berenchyk, I look forward to seeing Navarrete move up the ranks, and I believe that the way he speaks and the way he resonates, the way he fights, the Mexican people love him because he brings his A game. He brings his tools with him. If you're not ready for him, if you slip up one bit with him, he will finish you. Like, he's dangerous, man. Navarrete and Super Matias will be awesome. Puerto Rico versus Mexico fight. That would be dope. Like, I like both fighters. Of course, I'm a root for my countryman, Super Matias, but I love what both fighters, the way they fight, what they bring to the table. And we're the ones that sell. Puerto Rico and Mexico, we're the boxers that sell. We don't really need much to be promoted and to be successful and to become a household name. So that's why I say, Super Matias, if he fights Pitbull Cruz in a unification bout, he fights in Puerto Rico once with Liam Paro, and then he fights in New York against Regis Prograis, or Regis Prograis, or any of the top Mexican fighters like Pitbull Cruz, Navarrete. He'll be a household name regardless, because Puerto Ricans are very promotable and very easy to to build the brand of a Puerto Rican and a Mexican. They both sell. Most of the pay-per-view buys from Mexicans and Latinos and Puerto Ricans. So we sell so it's easier for us to sell than a Crawford. Crawford would have to actually be controversial, or he would have to put his name out there, and it would be harder for him to be a household name. As he's a household name now. Don't get me wrong. I love Crawford, but it's harder to sell an African American boxer as opposed to a Puerto Rican or Mexican, because they have a stronger fan base. They're loyal. They support the fighters. The African Americans, they don't really support the fighters as much as the Latinos. We're the ones that pay for the pay-per-view. The Latinos, the Puerto Ricans, the Mexicans. So it's easier for us to become a household name. The reason why Super Matias is not a household name like the way he should be is because PBC was not promoting him. They only promote they only give more promotion to the African American boxers. And if you notice, every time Tank Davis fights on the undercard, it's got to be a Latino, like David Benavidez, because they actually sell. So it's easier to sell. I'm not saying Tank Davis don't sell, but I'm pretty sure that without a Latino, he probably won't sell as much. He won't sell as much as if you don't put David Benavidez on the undercard. And that's the truth. Latinos, they're big draws. A lot of people want to see them, so it helps the card. That's a good fight, though. Don't get me wrong. Tank Davis versus Frank Martin, that's a good fight. I think Tank Davis is gonna win that fight, but I feel like Frank Martin is a live dog, but he's not proven. But I feel like he's confident. He's got abilities. He's good. But I feel like they got to put Tank Davis with Super Matias. Why Tank Davis don't fight Super Matias? Because I feel like Super Matias is a natural bigger guy than Tank Davis, and I feel like he makes the weight 140. So imagine if he didn't make the weight, he would be even stronger. So imagine he's stopping people, all his fighters, he's knocked them out. Super Matias making the weight at IBF, he has to make the 140. He can't go over. So imagine if he could go over 10 pounds, how much stronger he would be. And I feel like Ryan Garcia, okay, he did good against Devin No Chin Haney, but he don't have no chin. And yeah, he came in 3 pounds overweight, and they say they found illegal substance in his body. But I just feel like Ryan Garcia, he should make the weight if you're gonna fight somebody. But that's another story. I feel like Devin Haney should have put that in the contract. But I feel like regardless, he still got hit with the hook by Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, and he don't have a chin. He don't have a chin. Devin Haney don't have a chin. I feel like the best fighter right now at 140 is Subriel Matias. Now, you can't say Ryan. Ryan is not even the champion. You could say he cheated, but I feel like at the end of the day, you gotta respect the sport. If you're gonna fight somebody at 140, fight them at their weight class. But no excuses. Ryan Garcia beat him, but I feel like Subriel Matias is the unofficial king in that weight class. But tonight, I'm focused on Navarrete. I'm looking forward to seeing this fight, and then I'm gonna watch the Usyk Fury fight afterwards at midnight. Hopefully, I stay up because they're fighting, I think, in England, so it's a different time. But yeah, Tony also knows boxing. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe to my channel. Check out my music on Spotify, Pandora, Tony Also, The Prodigy of Alviso Campos, The Monumental Truth, and my gospel album, Tony Also for Christ. I got a new album coming out, The Essence of Who I Am. It's gonna be real dope R&B, dance, Afro beats, just like music that talks about anything you can relate to, like in life. It's life music, you know. Music has a frequency and it resonates with people. So check out my music on all major platforms and tune into my boxing channel, Tony Also Knows Boxing. I appreciate the love and support, everybody tuning in. One love. Yep, Tony Also Knows Boxing. Subscribe to my channel. One love.